Today is the 23rd of June and it's time for June plot tour. Let's go. So if you've been following the vlogs, you know by now that I'm away on holiday in the next few days. In fact, when this video will be released, I will already be on holiday. So a slight change. I usually start the vlog at the allotment and finish in the greenhouse. But today we will be starting in the greenhouse and then going to the allotment afterwards, just because I've got a very limited amount of time and a ton of things to do before I'm going on holiday. A couple of days ago, the vlog 29, I think it's 29, came out, and you've probably seen all the changes in here, including these weird black cable. But if you've not been watching it yet, or if you just follow the monthly plot tool, I'm going to show you around and I'm going to give you a quick explanation about this. I usually have someone coming over to water the garden for me, but since it's going to be raining pretty much right through the whole 2 weeks and a bit that I'm away, I feel bad to ask the person to come over just to water the greenhouse. So I figured that I had this watering system, this irrigation system, which I got a couple of years ago for a completely different project. But I wasn't overly convinced, but then I realized that I was not setting it up properly. It's potentially the subject of a whole video. I don't know if you're interested in that, but it's to do with pressure. Obviously, the more connection you have, just like here, that's connection line in, the more connection you have, the lower the pressure will get over time. And yeah, you end up with just a trickle or even sometimes nothing at all. So yesterday, spent a lot of time to try to figure this out properly, and I've got now something that works really well. In fact, I've not mentioned that in the vlog because the vlog finished yesterday, but I got the timer as well, because I've got a timer on my tap. I got a timer set up and I've put it on for 15 minutes in the morning, every single morning, and 10 minutes in mid-late afternoon every single day. And I thought that's going to be fine, seeing how the trickle I had. But turns out that I've got a lot more pressure because that timer has got a smaller, what's it called, a faucet or a gasket, whatever it's called. The hole is much smaller, so it pushes with much more pressure through. So actually it comes out much faster. And well, I've had to reduce the stuff because in the 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes it was on, it just literally filled up all my trays completely to the brim. So I've put it for 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, and every single day. But I might eventually I'll see what it's like, but I probably will just end up putting it for 5 minutes, either 5 minutes every day or 5 minutes every other day. But anyway, you're here for the plot tour, so let me show you around the greenhouse. So the first one is the tiny geraniums and the lavender, which, as you can see, are growing quite nicely. Some of them are struggling a bit more. So these are two different types. So as you can see, weirdly enough, the Munstead are doing better than the headcut, or growing faster than the headcut, except the one that's been eaten by a slug. Yes, slug eat lavender. I didn't know that. And then here, I mean, you can see the color of them. They're really, really bright. It doesn't even do them justice. They're actually super bright. Obviously, this here, they're really tiny, so they will be staying in there. Later on, I will be moving them into troughs for the winter, and then hopefully next year they will be ready to go out. But they have got hardly any root system to them. See, it's just nothing at all. The basil is picked up quite nicely, and in fact it's gonna start flowering soon. I've harvested a couple of leaves but not really touched it much. I was gonna sow some more, then I realized I didn't have any seeds I don't know what I've done with them, because I'm sure I had some seeds. So I bought a new pack last week, and I need to do some more sowing, but obviously I'll do that when I'm coming back from the holidays. Down here it's yeah, fortunately I've still not planted the potatoes. I was hoping to do that before the holidays, but to be fair, I need so much compost for those that I'm not gonna be able to do them. To be fair, they are absolutely fine, so I'll probably plant them when I come back from the holidays, and they'll be like late summer crop really, which is fine. I mean, they are still doing okay. They've not starting to rot or anything like that. They are actually keeping up quite nicely, surprisingly. So yeah, I'm gonna use them eventually. And here you've got all the tomatoes. Again, everything's rigged up. I've got my string, and here my strings, which are obviously that's it doesn't look like it, but it's a bit of a puppeteer office in here with all the strings and the hose and everything pulling down. But in here we've got a mix. So for whatever reason, I thought this would be this was meant to be a resin traub, but it's a pink bumblebee, but I had rigged up everything before, so it will stay there. And this one is the resin traub, so these two should have been switched about. So it's pink bumblebee here, that should have been pink bumblebee, but it's resin traub. This should have been resin traub, but it's pink bumblebee. And the other three there at the front are resin traub, and this one here is also a pink bumblebee, and the two last one in the corner, which are growing. I mean, I'm just looking, I'm thinking they've just taken a big stretch actually. These two are black moon. So each of them have been underplanted with a marigold, just to keep them protected. Thanks Tony for the marigold, really helps, because mine didn't do very well this year. Yeah, they're just going to be fed from now on. Obviously I've got my first truss on, so I'm going to start feeding the plants just before the holidays, so a couple of weeks later. Technically that's every week, but obviously I'm going to do them 2 weeks later, and then I'm going to start on a weekly basis. Here we have the cucumbers and the melon. So as you can probably see, yeah, you can definitely see, the cucumbers are starting to grow quite nicely. A bit less on this one. There is a wee flower there, but I'm not expecting them to be like this, to be fair. So I've already picked one out of, yeah, of this one. Is it this one? I can't remember. Anyway, I've picked one from one of them because it was just a bit too much for my liking. But yeah, they're growing quite nicely. Again, rigged up so they can stretch their legs all the way up to the top, and then once they reach the top, because they will reach the top, I will look at training them over the roof. And then here we have the melon, as I've mentioned, and the melon is trained to go all the way on this structure here, all the way to the top. And then if I need any more space, I can start filling up this. I'm hoping not to fill this up, because hopefully I will get the watermelon, which I'll show you in a minute. I don't think it's going to happen, but just in case, I'd like to keep some space for the watermelon in here and to let it grow a bit on here and up here. So right in here, this is the Najina. So these are the ones that should have been in the ground as well. Tomatoes, obviously, they should have been in the ground already, but they have really struggled. And remember the drama with the lack of germination in them and just not going very well. They are picking up, they're not the best. I mean, they've got big space between them. They're very leggy-ish and still very flimsy. So I'm not overly impressed with them, but they're potted up now. And hopefully when I'm coming back from the holidays, I'll be able to chuck them in the ground. Or not in the ground, but in their final position in one of those big pots. Those are 15 liter, by the way. And then here at the back, we've got the spare leeks. And obviously, you'll see when we get to the allotment that we've been planting some of the leeks already. I think it's 56 of them. So yeah, that gives you a a rough idea of what we've got left to do in here. There's probably about 70, 80 in here still left to plant, so it's definitely going to keep us busy. Right up here we've got all the cabbages. Those are red cabbages, Calibos. They've just been separated and planted individually, so when I'm coming back from the holidays, I will be planting them out at that point. There's no rush for them. They're still a bit flimsy to go out, so I'll leave them to be. This is my daughter's sunflower, which is needing to be repotted, so I might need to do that before I'm going on holiday. And in here, this is all the sweet pepper. I've mentioned that a few times. I don't think I'll get anything out of them, to be fair. They're just really struggling. And in fact, if I manage to pull this out now, they need put it on. But it just took so long that we are now pretty much at the end of June, so it's just probably a bit too late for them to do anything. I'll take you back down here, and here we have all the Burpees Longkeeper. Those are all my Burpees Longkeeper. Again, those ones were sown a bit later because those ones are for winter harvest. So obviously that's not harvested in winter, but they are going to be like early autumn harvest hopefully, and then kept over winter to eat fresh. So they are meant to be a bit later, unlike the Najina, which should have been much bigger by now. So those ones will be putted up in the next day or so into those purple pots, and then left to grow. And then when I'm coming back from the holidays, soon after, I'll be able to put them into the 15-liter pots. I've got 11 here. I'm not keeping all 11 of them. Obviously, some of them will go to Tony's. But I'm probably going to keep, I think I've mentioned 5, that I had space for 5. But this was before I remember that I had the Najina, so I've got 4 Najina to put. So I'll see what I can do, but I'm hoping to keep 4 or 5 of those just to give us a good amount of tomatoes. It looks like it's not the most productive plant for what I was reading. I've never grown them, so I'm not exactly sure, but it looks like they are okay. They're definitely good for eating fresh in winter, but it's not the most productive one, so I might need a few more plants than the 2 or 3 that I usually do. So in here we have the butternut chieftain, so the butternut squash. The spaghetti squash we've got at the allotment are doing absolutely amazing. For some reason, the butternut chieftain really struggle. I think I've done 2 sowing, which were just nothing, like literally nothing came up. Then I've done a 3rd one and they were really slow to come up. And this is genuinely the results of that. Then we move to this last bit, which is those 2 are watermelons. Those 2 are spare melons. I did mention that in the vlog, vlog 29, which came out a couple of days ago. The melons are definitely spares. This one's been chewed up quite bad. This one is catching up. This one was a late one. They are okay, but it's just spares. So I've got 1 planted here. Tony's got 1. That's more than enough. I don't have space for more than that, but I'm just keeping them just in case. But to be fair, they're so small, they're so far behind that I think they'll just feed the compost and that's it. And unfortunately, the watermelon is the same idea. I'm just looking, but I don't see any. It seemed to take forever to grow. I don't know if I should start them. That's the first time I'm doing watermelon, to be fair, and I don't know if I should start them earlier. They're growing. They're definitely growing. And in fact, if I take this one over, so you have the first 3 leaf there. Well, I've put it on about 2 or 3 weeks ago with just the seedling leaves and then just like wee blades coming out, and that's the results of 2 or 3 weeks in a bigger pot. It's just ridiculously slow. So is it meant to be like that? I'm not sure. And then to finish wrapping up with the tomatoes, we've got here well, technically 4. As you can see, there's still the screws. The fourth one is down there. I still need to fix it. I mentioned that last night, and obviously when I was filming vlog 29, one of the bracket fell off. The plant is fine, fell nicely, but I'm gonna have to fix this. Those are the obviously outdoor tomatoes. Those are cherry full, and so I've got 3 in this one, 2 in each of them. The idea is obviously cherry full, so they will cascading down, and hopefully I'll be able to harvest some cherry tomatoes. So this is the update here from the greenhouse. So let's go now to the allotment and see how things are going. I'm hoping the weather's gonna stick and I will be able to film this properly, but we'll see. It's very changing today. So let's go and have a look at the allotment. And we are back at the allotment. As you can see, it is raining just now. So yeah, we'll try to do an update anyway, especially because I can see some of the raspberries that seem to be ready to be picked. Maybe a few more strawberries. I'll have a look. I did forget to bring my truck with me, so I'll see if I can find a wee container to put them in if I take some. But yeah, let's just crack on. So I'm obviously not here just to show you the best side of the allotment. I just want to show you what it's actually like. So this is a corner that I've not really touched. There's just down here, there was a massive hosta, which I didn't want, and well, the new owner of plot 11 that was next door from me was quite interested in that, so I said just take it. So they took the stuff out. I've not dealt with anything in here. Obviously there's a lot of weed. I've pulled some of the weeds out, just dump on the ground like that. I've got some work to do in here, and when I'm coming back from the holidays as well, I will start harvesting the Aquila jam as well. I really wanted to, I probably will be able to find it through the different footage that I've got, but I really wanted to identify which one was which to try to keep the seeds separate. But if I can't do that, I'll just do a broadcast of them all and that'll do the job. Obviously no change in here. This is going to be for the future. Next month there will be definitely a video, well obviously towards the end of July there will be a video on the plans for the allotment. And yeah, all this area is part of the plants. It's a mess, but that's what it is. Obviously I can't be everywhere at the same time, unfortunately. This is the war zone for me. I've cleared as much as I could on the boundaries with Tony's plot, which we will go and have a quick look afterwards, by the way. I've asked him if it was okay to go and film it, because I know that some people are asking for Tony how he's getting on and so on, so I'm just going to show you around. Yes, so there's this bit. I'm still needing to build a wee cold frame with this. I don't know exactly where I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do a wee cold frame anyway with this bit of glass in here, so quite handy. Those 2 tubes in here, I'm not exactly sure. I think I'm going to use one just to put some tools in, and I probably will keep the other one to do some carrots, like very long carrots. I don't know, that's might be something that I will do. It's just I'm not a huge fan of making competition stuff, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and I just don't have time to do all this, but I might try my luck at some carrots. We'll see. Greenhouse is still not there, obviously. And this is, well, actually this, if you remember, we pulled out the 2 or 3 small clumps of rhubarb that were in here, and I broke one of the crown when I pulled it out, and I thought that's fine, I'll just deal with that later. Well, that's it later. And it just shows you how quickly these rhubarbs can grow. I'll try to take you right inside. Look at that. So yeah, well, this one's gonna stay for the moment, and then I'll try to pull it out carefully this time, not break it. Yeah, so obviously a lot of slabs, a lot of bits and pieces which will be used eventually. I'll go over all this in details when I'm doing the full update on the plot and on the project for the plot. So right here we've got the dwarf beans, which unfortunately I'm not. I think they are getting stripped by the mice. I'm not entirely sure. What I know is there's a lot of bindweed coming from next door, as you can see. It's a mess there, and it's the same over there next to the flower beds. And I'm just trying to keep on top of this, but it's just that's not my job. But the bindweed, and as you can see, there is one right here. Again, the bindweed, and I don't know if it's the bindweed that is slowly but surely choking the plant, but I mean it's been eaten as well, so I'm not exactly sure what causes this. We've got a few that are okay. Unfortunately, the one that seem to have the most flowers on are also the one that have been completely devastated. So yeah, not great. All my seedlings, so remember we did 2 rows in here of radishes. Both have been stripped out. They've all been eaten. The germination wasn't great either, but I had a few that germinated and they've all been eaten. Obviously, there's a bit of weeding to do right here, over there, but it's not looking too bad at all. And again, it shows. I mean, I've not really done any weeding whatsoever on this area, and I've not really done any weeding in this area, and it's actually not too bad at all. But this area where I've got the cardboard down is pretty much weed free. The only weed, really, if I can call that a weed, that's growing in there is actually potatoes, like volunteer potatoes coming up, which I keep pulling out and pulling out and pulling out. But otherwise, there's not really an awful lot. Those lettuce are just mental. They are absolutely superb. So I told Tony his mission is to find enough people to dispatch all these lettuce, because I'm not going to be able to eat all that, and by the time I come back from my holidays, it probably will be bolted. So yeah, and the onions are starting to pick up a bit in here, so they are looking good. They're definitely much later. I don't know if it's meant to be. Obviously, again, first time doing it. I see a nice big one over there. First time doing onions from seeds, but it's looking okay. Then we are moving to the courgette patch. So we've got 2 spineless beauty here. Actually, the first flower, the first courgette is starting to grow on this one. I'll show you in a sec. Those 3, yes, this is 1, 2, and 3. Those 3 are the summer holiday. This is the first one I put in, which is getting, well, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere at this point. And this is the 2 that I've planted earlier on this week, or last week actually, but I've planted recently, less than a week ago. So hopefully this one especially will survive. This one should be okay. And then if I take you down here, you will be able to see. Oh, you might be able to see. If I take you right down here, the first courgette. And I've put the stakes. So the idea will be to train them up here, clearing the base and basically just growing them almost like an upright. The frame has also been strung up. And this is going to be for some peas on here and on this side as well, in between the spaghetti squash. Yes, I've said it properly this time. I keep saying butternut squash before spaghetti squash. And this is actually the first squash coming up, and I'm going to train it along the way here. A lot of male flower, obviously, everywhere. So yeah, I just need to, in fact, this one is already popping out. I'll take you around, I'll bring you back after, because I just want to show you on this side. So we've got another female flower in here. Those are all male. And this one has literally doubled in size, so I'm gonna have to train it back again. In fact, I might just put it under here. See if this would support it enough under this, so I'm not damaging the potential flower coming up here. So right back in here, we now have, well, briefly touch on this bit here, which is the spinach. So we've got 3 rows of spinach in here. Despite walking all over this area, they are coming back. Obviously, I've misplaced some of the seed, hence why the curved shape rather than a straight line, which wasn't overly straight. I mean, to be fair, it's the same over there. They're all going sideways because I've knocked the seeds while I was installing this frame. And then right next to that, we have the zombie pumpkin. So 2 zombie pumpkin here, 3rd one is in there, and this is a Atlantic giant right there. And look at this, we've got not 2 fruits on here. Those are all female, those are all male, sorry. Those are all male flowers, but we've got 2 female here. So I'm definitely gonna take one of those 2 out and let it trail somehow, somewhere over time. And but I'm gonna keep a few, maybe I'm hoping to keep 3 or 4 on each plant, see how it goes. But definitely I don't want them right next to each other like that, so one of those 2 will be going once I'm back from my holidays. You can see that here as well we have 1, 2 and 2. Yep, 2 female flowers. I don't want them to grow next to each other, so same thing, I'm gonna discard one of them. My only concern, it's not really a concern, is just the way it's going this way. So this one is good, it's going there, but this one is going right over there, and I want this one to go either under there or this way. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look at slowly but surely giving it the direction here. And then right here we've got the Atlantic giant, which just now only have male flowers. It took a while to started growing again. It was just kind of stalling there, but it's definitely growing again now, so quite happy with that. Again, I should be trailing towards the camera, and it seemed to be taking that direction, so I'm quite happy with that. But I'll also be happy if it trails this way, because all this will be away by the time this is a bit more grown, so that will be fine. Well, I was just about to say I've not had a chance to do the netting, but it seems like I've managed to so far save 2 Brussels sprouts. The other 2 there and there are done, but unfortunately I'm just realizing that it's not gonna happen. It is not going to happen. So I'm not exactly sure what to do at this point. I don't have time to make a netting. I don't even have a netting, to be fair, that would fit them just now. So yeah, I should have stick with my first idea and not have any Brussels sprouts. So we'll see. This is just gonna spread as long as it stays on here. That's fine. Then over here we've got the sunflowers and the sweet corn. A lot of damage on the sunflowers. As you can see, some of them have been chewed up quite bad. Some of them are actually ready to flower, which is no good because they're tiny. Those are giant. They should be 3-4 times that size. But obviously they've been stressed with this weather that we've had, so even if I just get small ones, that's fine. I'm still gonna get a few flowers. In terms of the sweet corn, they are slowly picking up, but very, very slowly picking up. So I'm hoping that I'm not too late. I was a bit late for sowing and transplanting, so I'll take full responsibility if those ones are not working. But so far, all of them seem to be surviving, some of them better than others. Right, in this corner I need to be a bit careful because as you can see I've got stuff planted down here at my feet. So right here is the teepee for the beans, French beans. Those are cobra. They've just been planted, well, a week ago actually. It was last Monday, I think. So they are doing, was it last? Yeah, I think it was last Monday. But anyway, so it's only been a week at most. So they are doing well. They are growing slowly but surely. I thought there would be more damage on that side given the damage on the dwarf one. But they are okay so far. So touch bamboo. And this is just a spare zombie pumpkin, which I thought I'm gonna put in the ground here rather than discarding. You can never have enough pumpkin for Halloween, so why not? Obviously just now it's only producing male flowers. It's just been put in the ground. As you can see, it's been under quite a fair amount of stress, so it's going to take a wee while to recover. But I'm hoping to use, obviously using this so I can underplant here, but I'm hoping to be able to trail it somehow, like kind of in a circular shape, like in a spiral shape, and try to keep everything kind of contained in here, even if I have like one or two rather than three or four like I would like on the other ones. I'm happy with that. It's just rather than wasting that space, I can actually use it. Then when we move right here, you can see all these wee twigs, all these wee bits of allium leaves. So those are all right along there, actually, all the way along here as well. Right in here, these are all my leeks, the first batch. So I've mentioned earlier all the pots that I've got left to plant. This is just the first batch, so there's 56 of them. Some of them have disappeared on the ground, maybe made the hole a bit too big for them. We'll see if they are coming back, so it might not be 56. And in here, this is the line of Jerusalem artichoke, which had been pulled out from plot 11. And they are doing well. They were still growing in the pot, that's why I've quickly put them in the ground, but this is new growth actually. Like all this bit here has new growth, so I'm quite happy with this, and they seem to be quite strong as well. So we should have a decent amount of lovely yellow flowers, and hopefully some interesting tubers underground. So right behind me we've got the fruit. I'm still not sure. Those ones, I think they are honeyberries. The old plot neighbors seem to think that they are blueberries, some sort of Russian blueberries. There was hardly any fruits on it, but I've picked one up and it was just not ready yet at all. So I thought I'll give them another couple of weeks, and they're all gone. They're all gone. There's not a fruit to be seen. Nothing at all, like if they had never been there. The raspberries have definitely passed the taste test, so they are definitely staying. They will be relocated as well, obviously, but they are definitely staying, so that's a good thing because there's masses of them, and I've picked up some more, and it just keeps doing new shoots. I keep picking up shoots everywhere, so yeah, I'm looking forward to get a proper good harvest of them. I've had a couple already, and in fact, let me show you. There's lovely fruits, and you're like, oh, beautiful. Could do with some a tiny bit more. They are really nice, really nice. I've seen a few which are a bit more ready, so I'm going to take those ones. On the flower side, not so much of an update, although the gladiolus are growing quite nicely. The bulbs in general are actually growing quite nicely, so hopefully when I'm coming back from my holidays I should have a few showing up here. But we also have, and I'm afraid I'm gonna have to film from here because there's so many bulbs in here. I don't want to walk all over them. Ooh, look at this. We've got the first rose. Well, it was meant to be. I've just recorded a bit where I'm eating a strawberry, then realized that I didn't press the record button, so I'm gonna have to have another one. And look at the size of this one. This is just humongous, absolutely humongous. So as I was actually saying without recording, I've got one main issue with those strawberries, is that they are so good that I've got a plot neighbor right on that side. You might know him. I keep stealing them when I harvest them. I've done 2 harvests so far. This is going to be my third one today. I've got to shelter the microphone as well. It's a bit windy, so I hope you can still hear me. Okay. So I've got a plot neighbor that like to steal my strawberry, despite the fact that he's got some strawberries on his plot. So that's one thing. And then I'm getting home, and usually, obviously, it's been hot in the past week, so they are a bit warm. So I put them in the fridge, and then a couple of hours later, I'm thinking, ooh, I'm gonna have some strawberry. Open the fridge, and they're all gone. I've got 2 kids, and they are just ransacking the strawberries as soon as they get to the fridge. So I've actually only had maybe about 3 or 4 of my own strawberries so far, and it's always been on the job. Well, actually, this is going to be my 5th one probably, because I've just had one. But I mean, it's rude of me to eat in front of the camera, but this is just divine. Absolutely superb, really juicy, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I can't even fit in my mouth. I could eat that all day. So I definitely need to carefully pick the plants out at the end of the season and put them inside of the future fruit cage, because they are definitely a keeper. I need to work out the best way to try to keep the slugs away. It's always been something that I've not really had to deal with, because mine were growing in container and I was putting copper tape around, and it tended to work. Most of the damage were actually from birds, to be fair, or children. So I need to work out exactly. So if you've got any idea how to protect them from slugs, please let me know in the comment. I would love to know. This is about it for the plot tour. So I just thought I was going to take you over to show you very quickly Tony's plot. He's been there for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, so he's still working on like weeding, finding out what's what. Things were already in there, then the people that were there before planted some stuff as well, then he came and put some stuff they took. So it's difficult to know what's exactly in there, what's exactly in place. Then he's done a bit of weeding, but he's got a big problem with bindweed, unfortunately, on this plot. But let me show you very quickly. I'm not going to give you a full tour. It's just a wee segment, and if you want to know more, I'm sure we can get Tony to do his own plot tour for you at some point. So the front of his plot is all ornamental, and he's got a lovely, look at that stunning rose here. It's a climbing rose, so hopefully between this one and that one in here, it's going to cover the whole archway, which is going to be really nice. As you can see, it is a much smaller plot than what he used to have up there, but big enough for him, obviously. Plenty of nice established flowers in here, so he doesn't even need to bother with this, which is great. There is some French beans, I believe, in here. Some on that area in here. But there's obviously a lot of weeding that needs done still on this area, which has not been taken care of just now. He's got a compost bin in here, but he's also got a compost bin right at the back there. So plenty of space to do composting. There's onions in there. I think it's onions anyway. We're not too sure. They were already there, so time will tell. There's some red cabbage growing in here for, I think they're calibos as well, the same than the one we've got in the greenhouse just now. The fruit trees, was it 3 or was it not 4? I thought it was 4. Don't know why, there's 3 here. The wind is picking up quite badly now, so I don't know if I'll be able to show you much more. But anyway, the fruit trees have been planted here. This is his strawberries, which obviously are not as nice as mine. We knew that anyway. Some dahlias are planted in here. Some more onions, red onions in here. Again, quite a lot of weed and bindweed to deal with. A massive rhubarb there in the corner. And plenty of potatoes. No idea what those ones are. They were already planted in. These are his, I think it's the main crop in here. And over there as well. Not exactly sure what they are. And he has no idea what those ones are because they were already in there. And then again another ornamental bed in here. So loads of colors. These ones in here should be cauliflowers. Again, they were already in here. This is the courgette, pumpkin courgette. This is the pumpkin in here. Courgette is on that side over there. And then some black Aztec sweet corn. I forgot to mention as well, there's a nice wee seating area in here. Obviously, once you will get to this will be all tidied, and there's a nice wee area to sit. It's a bit sheltered, obviously, with the wall, which is a good thing. And this concludes this month's plot tour. I will go and get the strawberries. I'll put a wee picture, show you what I managed to harvest. I definitely see a few in there. Just hope that they've not been eaten alive by the slugs. Finishing at the right time because I see the rain, proper rain is coming, the wind is picking up, so it's definitely time to go home. There's plenty more work to do. Mostly where you are standing just now, you should be inside a greenhouse, nice and warm, protected from that wind, and you're not. So this, I think I've mentioned it in vlog 28 or 29, this is going to be a priority when I'm back from the holidays, and I keep saying this is going to be a priority. It will be a priority. It's got to be a priority. I don't urgently need it because I wasn't counting on it anyway for this season. So my plans were made based on just my own greenhouse, which is fine. As you've seen, it's working. So I don't have an awful lot that I can grow in there, but it will give me time to prepare the stuff. But I think that when I'm back from the holidays, I need to make the 2 days really that it's going to take me to dismantle it all, take it all safely here and rebuild it here, but also build the frame, which I need to finish up, and I need to buy new blocks. So yeah, it's not just about finding the time. There's also, things are flying all about. It's really windy just now. I'm hoping the camera's not going to go anywhere, but it's not just the time that I've got to invest in this, it's the money that I've got to invest as well. And right, that's going to be a bit better like that. Camera was about to fall off. So as I said, it's the time that I've got to invest, but not just the time, I also have the money to invest in this. I need a couple of glass to replace the broken one. I need a lot of blocks. I need some sharp sand, some sub base, I need some cement. I need quite a lot of materials, and it is a bit of an investment, which it's not. I'm investing money in compost just now to have the growing area ready, so that might be a bit later on in the season. I don't really have the space at home to store the greenhouse dismantled before I rebuild it in here. It's a bit risky with all the glass and all that stuff. Like I said, I've got kids. I don't want to put them at risk as proper glass. and it's proper sharp metal as well, so I don't want to store that forever. I've got some glass stored there, I've got the 2 doors stored at home just now, but I want to keep that to a minimum and for as little time as possible. As soon as I can, I really want to bring it in here and build it on here. But I also cannot bring it and leave it even temporarily sitting in here because it's going to get stolen. As everywhere it happens, and I've mentioned that a few times, and every single time I end up deleting that bit of the video because I feel like I'm being a bit mean or it's not overly relevant, but it actually is relevant. It's part of the allotment life. You're sharing a space with other folks. You're in the middle of a public area. There's going to be some vandalism. We've been lucky recently. It's not been too bad. In the past, I know that they've had really bad damage, like greenhouse been burned, like every single greenhouse had been burned to the ground 2 or 3 times. The beds were burned, like it's been like proper, real good vandalism. It's not been happening for a wee while now, but there is still risk that things might get damaged. But just now, it seems like there is someone, and I cannot, I mean, I feel terrible for saying that, but it's got to be someone that stays on this plot. It's not like, I appreciate that there could be some people from the outside coming to steal furniture, coming to steal valuable tools, but this is just ridiculous steal. Like one of the neighbors just there reported a couple of days ago that one of the pane of glass from his greenhouse has been stolen. Like someone took a piece of glass from his greenhouse. There's glass panel in here. There's glass panel right over there. There's loads of glass inside the outbuilding as well. But they need cut. And it's obviously someone that needed something that side that didn't bother getting his own cut. The next day, someone up at the top of the allotment reported that I think it's netting, a roll of netting has been stolen from his greenhouse. No one's gonna come, no one's gonna jump over the fence here to come and steal a roll of £2, £3 netting. No one's gonna come and take a piece of glass when you've got tons of glass just sitting there ready to be picked even if you need a piece of glass. Tony's also had some stuff stolen. In fact, someone came in his greenhouse back on plot 11, stole the thermometer, and then not only stole the thermometer, but also stole his box with his seeds. There's no one that's going to jump over the fence to come and steal some seeds. That's the kind of problem we have, and this has got to be someone here. But that also means that if I bring the greenhouse and leave it there the same way, I mean, the scrap metal there, I don't care if it gets stolen. No one's really interested in that. But if I bring a whole greenhouse and leave it there, it's not going to last before it gets stolen. If I'm bringing it in here, I need to really have the place ready and install it straight away. Anyway, enough was the rant. And I'm sorry for finishing the plot tour on this note, but I feel it was important to mention that as well, because as I said, I keep bringing it back and I never actually make it appear on my vlogs, but I think it's part of the allotment life and it's important to mention it as well. So this is June, believe it or not. That's fine. A couple of days I'm gonna be under the sun with about 30-35 degrees. That's gonna be nice. Thank you very much for joining today, and I hope to see you in the next vlog, and if not, in July's plot tour. Take care.